Hey everybody, it's Jason from the Texas Gun Vault 2, and today I'm coming to you with another frequently asked question. And the question I'm going to answer today is, Jason, how did you get into guns? How did you get into firearms and shooting and gun collecting and all that? Well, I am not somebody that grew up in a Second Amendment environment. Now, not that my parents were anti-Second Amendment, they just didn't care either way. And my dad is a veteran of the U.S. Army, so he was familiar with guns. He had been hunting and so forth. But I guess either he just didn't care enough, meaning like about the Second Amendment. I mean, he loved me, but but he also probably just wanted to protect me, so he didn't want me around guns. And so I knew we had a couple in the house, but that was about as far as my knowledge of guns went. I really didn't get into guns until my political ideas changed. I know that right now, you guys know me as a libertarian, Second Amendment, freedom-loving guy, right? But that wasn't always the case. Back when I was in college, I was the typical leftist, anti-gun, person that you would suspect and kind of see in like all of the memes, and I fully admit that. And I will tell people I was not somebody that's always seen the light. And in many ways, I'm very blessed about that, because when I debate people that feel differently than me, both politically and on the Second Amendment, I know where they're coming from because I was there at one point. But anyway, when I was in college, one of my dear friends, his name was Jeff Alvarez. He got into guns. I guess had already kind of been into guns, and he bought a couple of pistols, like a Kimber subcompact 1911 and something else. And me being anti-gun, I was like, man, no one needs a gun. No one needs it. That's dangerous. And he goes, listen, Jason, come to the range with me. I was like, okay, I'll do that. And so I was scared. I was nervous. I remember getting to the range. I heard all the gunfire. I was all scared, and I shot a gun. I don't even remember which one it was, but I remember walking away from that experience going, that was awesome. And my world had changed. And that's why I think it's so important to get people to the range today that might be anti-Second Amendment or just thinking about guns. Just get them to the range and they'll realize this is not what the media portrays. And so this was probably around 2000, I guess, 2001, 2002, in that area. And unfortunately, a few years later, my friend Jeff, he actually committed suicide. He, not with a gun, but he was a very dear friend. He was like a brother to me. And so his loss was a very sad time in my life. And but he had other issues that I had no idea about. But he kind of sparked the Second Amendment interest in me. And it wasn't really until about 2009, 2010, when I was in a financial situation when I could finally buy my first gun from a gun dealer. Now, I will say I did buy like a Smith & Wesson Target 22 from Jeff way back when, and I think I also bought a Glock 23, which I ended up selling at some point. But anyway, he was nice and sold me those in like a private sale. But then about 2009, I was able to kind of afford my first gun, and I went down to Cabela's in North Fort Worth and bought a Glock Generation 3 G17. That was my first gun from a gun dealer. And I guess that started it all. I went and got a concealed weapons permit. Now it's called a LTC here in Texas. And that's how I got into it. And so since about 2009, 2010, I've been getting into guns, and I got into it more. And I think in 2011, I kind of started the YouTube channel. And by that time, I went back and looked at my very first video. I had a bunch of Glocks. And so I think about that time, I had maybe 7 or 8 guns. And that's just kind of how the hobby developed for me. And then the more I learned, the more I wanted to learn, and the more I collected, the more I wanted to collect. You guys know about the gun owner's equation: X plus 1 equals Y, and X is the number of guns you have, and Y is the number of guns you need. So as soon as you buy that next gun, Y becomes X, and then you got to have one more. And that's just the way it's always been, and it kind of grew. So I wasn't always into guns, and I wasn't always pro Second Amendment. And as I said, I think that gives me a very unique perspective. And in many ways, it makes me cherish the Second Amendment more than maybe somebody that was raised in the Second Amendment and hunting and around guns, because you might not appreciate the other side and, having to be converted. So I am a convert to the Second Amendment. I am not somebody that just was born into it, So there you go. So that's how I got into guns. So let me know if there's any other questions you'd like to know about the Texas Gun Vault or the channel or content creation or my thoughts on anything else that you guys think you'd like to see a video on this channel about. So there you go. So let me know if you have any questions. And as always, thanks for watching.